I knew being lazy this summer would have its consequences. Hello, everyone, and if I didn't say it enough, I was very busy this summer from meeting friends and all that stuff, so I really didn't make a big video this summer. But this one I feel ashamed of myself for because I've been wanting to make this video. I've been planning it for months, and I wanted to make this on the perfect day, and it didn't happen, and I feel ashamed. But I'll tell you guys why. On July 25th, 1984, the animation company Pixar released its very first short film, The Adventures of Andre and Wally B. And after that, a whole bunch of Pixar shorts have been released to the public, followed by their well acclaimed movies. And I love Pixar. The movies, the shorts, I really like Pixar. Like, I might like Pixar more than the Disney movies, which is strange to say because Disney now kind of owns Pixar, but anyway, before they even made Toy Story, they made a few short films, and I've seen all of them. I think you can find them all online, and I feel like they're all really fascinating because they're all kind of unique from each other. While you could kind of say, well, all the characters sometimes look the same or the animation is same, it's kind of cool with the variety of shorts from styles to stories to even cultures, which is very fascinating. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about my top 10 favorite Pixar shorts to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the one that started it all. Before I start, there will be a couple rules for this list. First off, no shorts based on pre-existing movies. And second, no Spark shorts. I'm only going to be talking about the short films that were shown before a feature-length film. There might be a couple that weren't shown, but I will talk about them because of their originality and their history. Now, like with all my top 10 videos, this is my opinion, and comment below what your favorite Pixar short is. I'd love to read it in the comments below. So anyway, sit back, relax, and here are my top 10 favorite Pixar shorts. Number 10. Tin Toy. Released in 1988, Tin Toy stars a little baby's toy that doesn't want to be played with when he sees the baby. And it's a simple plot. There's a toy, it's gained sentience, it sees the baby. Once it sees how the baby plays with its toys, it doesn't want to be played with. And it kind of starts a little Tom and Jerry like chase. Well, Tom and Jerry, but it's only the chasing. It's a very simple short, very simple premise, and it resolves itself pretty nicely. Yeah, that's all I can say. It's just a very simple, cute short. The only bad thing I could say about it is the design for the baby. It is horrifying, but I shouldn't give it so much of a bad rap because it came out in 1988, and CGI, like completely CGI, wasn't that big pretty much until Pixar came into the spotlight. So, Tin Toy, very cute short, very simple. Next one. Number 9. For the Birds. Made in 2000 and released with the movie Monsters Inc., For the Birds starts with a bunch of birds on a telephone pole. This one bird meets up with them, but is very different from the others, and they kind of mock him. Him being blind to the fun they're poking at him, he decides to kind of join them, but of course, because of his differences, they all kind of bicker with him. But since he's all friendly, he chooses to ignore it, and he doesn't mean to, he's just being all friendly. And I feel like this entire short is based on comedic timing because there are some times where you know what's going to happen and you're just waiting for it, and I feel like it does deliver on that. So, again, another simple short, again based on comedy, though I feel like it's a different kind of comedy. For the Birds, again, very simple, and another one you should check out. Number 8. Luxo Jr. This is the short that I feel like people remember the most. Even though this was released with the theatrical release of Toy Story 2 in 1999, Luxo Jr. was actually made in 1986, and of course stars the lovable logo we all remember, the little lamp. And the short, again, very simple. The older Pixar shorts were very simple, but this stars two lamps, a big lamp and a little lamp. Think of it as the big lamp's a parent and the little lamp's a little kid. And it's just a simple story. All that happens in the short is just Luxo Jr. finds a ball and decides to play with it. It's kind of cute how this kind of inspired the Pixar logo of all things. So I think out of all the shorts I'm going to mention, this one I'm going to have the hardest time talking about because it probably has the less story. But this one, very simple, very cute. And I think it's more interesting to find out the history of two of Pixar's greatest icons, the lamp and the ball with the star on it. Number 7, Sanjay's Super Team. Released with the theatrical release of The Good Dinosaur, this short is actually probably one of the most creative shorts I've ever seen. And it shows off a really good representation of a little boy growing up with very religious parents. And I think the director of this short, Sanjay Patel, said this was based on his life story. And it does have a very childlike feel to it, where even though his family's really religious and he's a little kid and likes superheroes and cartoons, the little boy decides to kind of fuse the two, like religious superheroes, which I think in every kid's mind with religious parents, that's like the coolest thing ever. This actually kind of reminds me of a little kid version of the Super Best Friends from South Park. Like, I even think the Super Best Friends was an awesome idea. But anyway, the short has really good animation and really pretty colors. And I really like the idea of Pixar trying to tap into other cultures and religions. Of course, in good taste because they're Pixar. And I feel like it worked really well. It's a really sweet and cool short to watch. Number 6, La Luna. Released with the theatrical release of Brave, if I could describe it in one word, it would probably be beautiful. From the animation to the music, it's just very beautiful. And the story is we have a little boy with his father and grandfather, and their job is basically they sweep stars from the moon, kind of like sweeping leaves off a backyard. But this is kind of the little boy's first time doing it, and they're kind of showing him how it works because you can see that he's trying to be more like his father and grandfather. It's very creative with how they display it. Like, they go out to a lake, and to get to the moon, they use a very long ladder to get on it. That's very creative. And the whole sweeping the stars, that's cute. And again, very pretty visuals and really beautiful music. I was shocked this didn't win Best Animated Short Film at the Oscars, and it's really worth watching this one. Number 5, Piper. Released with the theatrical release of Finding Dory, in terms of their computer animated shorts, this is probably their best looking short because of how cartoony yet realistic they made it. And the story is the little sandpiper. This is its first time trying to collect food, and of course, he gains a fear of not getting swept away by the waves. And a simple story that little kids can relate to, and it's really cute. Like, they really deliver on giving it the realistic look, which I think I'd give a pat on the back for Pixar for that. Like, you can see just through the years how much they've evolved with their animation, and they really sold it on Piper. So, Piper, a really good one, but it's such an amazement for the eyes, in my opinion. Number 4, Bao. Pixar's newest short, released with The Incredibles 2, Bao's the little story of a woman who makes a dumpling that comes to life. And she raises the dumpling like a little kid, and the little kid grows up. And we all soon later find out that the dumpling is a sort of metaphor, and the metaphor's kind of obvious, but for story reasons, I won't explain what happens. But I feel like Bao is another short worth watching. And this is a short that if you don't know what happens, you will gasp at what happens. But I won't spoil anything. I really want you guys to watch this one because I like how this one can be both serious and funny. Like, I feel like if you can do both, have multiple emotions in one short and make it work, then you've done your job well. So, yeah, Bao, really cute, really funny, really shocking. It's everything in one. It's worth a watch. Number 3, Day and Night. Released with the theatrical release of Toy Story 3, if I said La Luna was very creative, I'll say Day and Night might be their most creative short to date. It's a mixture of 2D and 3D animation, and the story is there are two humans in this existence, one representing the daytime and one representing the nighttime. And of course, they have a competition on who's better, day or night, and they show off representations of each. And it's very cute, it's very, very entertaining. The music is very catchy. The animation is awesome. And I'm mostly talking about the 2D because the 2D I feel like really steals the show, even though it blends in with the 3D aspects. And this one, I'm the most shocked it didn't win Best Short Film. Like, this was a fantastic short because of the comedic timing, all the little in jokes they make. It's all very clever. Like, this might be the short worth watching if you're such a huge fan of animation. Number 2, Presto. Released with the theatrical release of Wally, in my opinion, Presto is probably the funniest short Pixar's ever made. And I think because this one mostly relies on slapstick comedy. And the story, again, kind of a creative scenario. There's a magician who has a rabbit, the rabbit's hungry, but of course the magician has to perform in front of a live audience. And he has a magic hat, and anything that goes through it will pop out of a different hat, and of course he's gonna do the famous pull the rabbit out of a hat trick. But of course, the rabbit decides to kind of play with him and says that he's not gonna do the show unless he gets fed, and it's really hysterical with the slapstick violence. It reminds me of like Tom and Jerry in those old cartoons. And watching it again, I think this short still holds up with like its comedy, its animation. This was just so funny. Like, I think I can remember watching this in theaters 11 years ago. Like, the entire audience was just cracking up, mostly little kids like me. But Pixar's good at making a short and conveying its story without really having any lines. And I think with Presto, it really shows what the story is. Like, this is one of the best examples, or one of the most clear examples of story told without any dialogue. It's just, I really recommend this one with how funny it is. And yeah, so number 2, Presto, probably the funniest Pixar short I've ever seen. So I bet you guys are wondering, what's my number 1? If you already said Presto's the funniest, what could possibly be number 1? Well, let's find out. And my number 1 favorite Pixar short is Gary's Game, or Jerry's Game, whatever you want to call it. This one I watch over and over because I can't think of a clear reason why this one's my favorite, but it's like in my gut, I know this is my favorite. I enjoy watching this. I just can't think of a clear reason why, because it's not as funny as Presto. It doesn't look as good as Piper. It's not as creative as Day and Night. Why is this my favorite? When I look back at it, it's probably because the character of Gary or Jerry. Like, of course, you're gonna create some likable characters with these shorts. I mean, the mother in Bao, the rabbit in Presto, the little sandpiper, Sanjay, the little boy from La Luna. Each short film has like a unique character, but Gary just seems to be my favorite. And also, when I think hard about it, it's maybe because, strangely, my favorite bits of media are the more realistic ones. Like, I really like Night in the Woods, and one of the reasons is because of how realistic it is. One of my favorite movies is Napoleon Dynamite, and one of the reasons is because of how realistic it is. And maybe that's it. And honestly, when I think deep about it, the story's kind of boring. It's just an old man playing chess with himself. But why did Pixar make that so entertaining for me? I don't know why. Like I said, it's probably the character because when he's playing chess against himself, he tries to give both sides a different personality. Like, one's like more careful, and the other one knows what he's doing and is being like kind of cocky about it, but it's really funny. I think this is one you guys should check out too. Ignore what I said. Like, it is funny, it's just not Presto funny. And I feel like the animation's alright. It's easily better than Tin Toy, but yeah, Gary's Game. I like the music, I like the character, I even kind of like the premise, and maybe it's because animation is doing something that animation seems kind of pointless for, making it realistic. But I just really like it, and I think it's my favorite Pixar short ever, or of what's been made so far. And that's my list for my top 10 favorite Pixar shorts. There were a few honorable mentions, but I didn't really want to talk about them. I really wanted to focus on these 10. But anyway, I just love Pixar. I know everyone says it's my childhood, and that could be it for me, but I don't know why I love Pixar over normal Disney, because people think Bambi, The Lion King, and all those stuff, and I'm like, I'll go with Toy Story and Incredibles every day over those movies. But I felt it was kind of nice to talk about the shorts because no one really talks about the shorts because everyone talks about, again, Toy Story and those other things. But I felt like the shorts were like interesting as like a way of like seeing how it all started. I mean, without Andre and Wally B, without Luxo Jr., even without Tin Toy, we wouldn't have gotten Toy Story or any of these awesome movies. So you kind of have to thank these shorts for kickstarting one of the biggest animation companies in the world. And I think you just have to appreciate some of these shorts more than what they are. So, thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you like this video. If you have a favorite Pixar short, feel free to comment down below what your favorite is. I'd like to read what you guys think is your favorite Pixar short. Consider subscribing for more top 10s as well as other content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.